Hi, I'm Adjuah, a correspondent for The Empty Hanger. You're watching my special vlog series that's focused on a pretty controversial topic in our society, cultural appropriation in fashion. You've probably seen or heard about a social media firestorm on this issue. As the daughter of a Dutch mother and a Nigerian father, I'm torn by some of the opposing arguments about the issue and questioning some of the clothing choices my family members have made. That being said, this vlog series is also a journey for me, an exploration spent asking questions in the hopes that the answers will raise some level of cultural awareness and appreciation for all of us. Don't go anywhere. The first stop on my journey begins now. There's one thing we have to take care of right away, and that's answering the question some of you must be thinking right now: what in the world is cultural appropriation? So I stopped by the office of Dr. Jeff Tucker to get an answer and some insight on this topic. He's an associate professor of English at the University of Rochester. Here's how he breaks down cultural appropriation.
That term refers to a culture selecting and using aspects of the culture of another group. So one group using the cultural aspects of another group without acknowledging or respecting the original historical significance of that cultural item. And it's a political thing. There's a political dimension to it because it's usually a dominant group appropriating from a subordinated group. And that's what distinguishes it from other types of cultural movement.
In short, cultural appropriation is borrowing something from another culture without necessarily understanding or respecting its cultural significance. And it's generally done by a dominant or majority group from a subordinated group. So what exactly does that mean in relation to fashion, and what does it look like?
You know, we've seen pop stars and people who are not Native Americans wear Native American headdress at sport events or in music videos or music performances, and it's simply a way for them. It kind of reduces that cultural artifact to a merely exotic accessory, and there's no acknowledgement or reference to what it's about. It's particularly significant when you're talking about Native Americans, indigenous peoples and their cultures, given the history of those peoples here in the United States, which is to say, I mean, they've been all but, eliminated and marginalized in this country. So that type of appropriation is hurtful.
Jeff told me that's a pretty blatant example of appropriation in fashion. So that begs the question I've been pondering since I started exploring this issue. Does everyone who culturally appropriates in their style of dress even realize that they're doing it? And what do we need to stop and ask ourselves to ensure we don't do it to others? According to Jeff, it comes down to context.
So not only who is wearing, let's say, the clothing, but also, when in history, at what type of event, at what type of function, for what type of purpose, all of that creates context, right? And so the context in which one is engaging in a culture that is not organically theirs matters.
So this intrigues me because when it comes to context, my family comes to mind. Are there circumstances under which my mother wore Nigerian clothing harmful when we thought they were celebratory? As Jeff went on to explain, there can be situations where cultural assimilation or cultural exchange come into play. Stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to hop over to my mom's place because I'm curious about her take on this issue.